welcome to another episode of the Aftermath Podcast. Today we're going to talk about night vision. Anyone want to start?
Yeah, go ahead, Frankie.
Sure,
What
why
you got
not?
to work with?
So, that most night vision that we run is Gen 3. That there's a couple different generations and a couple different things. I should have said Gen 3 analog, because there's Gen 1 analog, Gen 1 digital, and the difference between that is the refresh rate, the refresh rate, because digital, you only have 50, 60 hertz, and then analog, it's real time, so if you're running digital, you're going to get a headache. And then analog, there's no input lag. Gen 2, it's slightly brighter and you don't need an IR illuminator. And Gen 3, again, you don't need an IR illuminator. It's brighter than Gen 2. And that's probably one of the more superior generations of night vision. I'm not going to the pluses or anything.
Yeah.
Just minor.
Yeah. And then also, too, that there's, outside digital, that there's green phos and then white phos, and it's just the different color crystals grown in the lab of what night vision, of the night vision that, that's in the tubes, sorry. You're probably going to have to edit a bunch of stuff, Greg.
In my opinion, I only like analog for night vision because the ones that are digital, they pretty much rely on the IR. Mm-hmm. And especially for airsoft, and you have everybody out on the field with night vision, if you have anything with IR, it's like if you're in a pitch black room using a flashlight.
Yeah.
So
it's basically a giant beacon. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, look, there you are.
if you just want to get out into the field or hike or whatever you want to do, I think it's okay to just buy a cheaper digital one. But Jackal rents night vision.
Yeah.
Analog PVS 14s, right?
We do. We only rent white phos.
White phos. I like white phos.
White
yeah.
phosphorus is way better.
Yeah. We rent the white phos. We actually have, if you want to put it over duct tape, open it up. Rental units, we do them mostly for our events, but we do, if someone would come in and want to rent for another event, we could work something out.
Oh wow! I didn't know that.
But our rentals, they come with
Come with a helmet?
the helmet,
D-ball.
the D-ball, a flashlight, and the actual Gen 2 white phos unit. So if anyone's interested, stop in or hit us up. We don't really advertise it yet, honestly. We're still trying to figure everything out ourselves, but we have 4 of them units for rent. So
And how much are those for rent?
I don't know exactly. I don't know.
Yeah,
Okay.
running night vision is definitely
It
the best
depends.
way.
If you get the insurance and stuff, it's more, and if you want the add-on of the D-ball and the light, we charge a little bit more as well. But it's competitive to what other people charge to rent night vision. So.
Okay.
It's still a fraction of what it costs to buy one.
Well, yeah, and we had someone, Mo from Bad Influence. He's rented a couple times now, and we worked out a deal with him and let him know that when he's ready to purchase, we'll cut him a little bit of a discount or a break since he has been renting them
Nice.
a couple times. So.
Yeah,
Yeah.
considering how green phos nowadays is roughly running $2,500 to $3,000,
For a decent set, yeah.
It
We
depends
for a
on the
decent
specs.
set.
we only at the store we only sell and rent U.S. night vision tubes. We don't do any other brands. I know there's other good ones and stuff out there. They've just been good to me, and everyone has been satisfied with the units they bought from us. So we're just going to stick with doing the U.S. night vision
Yeah,
stuff. So.
my duels are from the U.S. Night Vision. I'm very satisfied with talking with those guys, helping me with the purchase and everything. Any questions I had, they sent me pictures through the tubes before I bought the night vision, actual live through at a wall. He's like, here's the gun safe and at the place. And he took pictures through the tube, so I knew exactly what I was getting. It was really, really helpful.
I ended up purchasing mine through Jackal and such, and running it a little over a year now. Absolutely love it.
And are you green phos or white phos?
I am green.
Yeah.
The difference between them for me is not that big of a difference with my eyes, but I've noticed with my stigmatisms and such, green does not give me as much headaches.
I would 100% agree to that. I don't know what it is, but I feel like the white, my eyes hurt more, and I get a headache with the white over the green. And I know there's other people that say
Completely.
I'm the opposite.
the complete,
Yeah,
the complete
same.
opposite.
Yep.
And
I get
I guess it just depends on the person and their eyes. I remember when Coxie got his white, and we were messing around. I'm like, man, that's hurting my eyes. And I know there's some adjustments and stuff, I'm sure, for everyone, but I prefer the green over the white. So
Well, when I got my first unit, I had a PVS 14 in green phosphorus, and it was cool to get the whole like nostalgic playing Call of Duty, you know, with the green film like in the movies. It was cool.
Yeah, it looks
It was
cool.
really fun. But what I noticed is that there's lack of definition in green phosphorus versus white against some terrain, like trees, grass, and brush. It blobs over for me in green phosphorus. Like one time we were out back with Greg with his white phosphorus, and we were out in the field, and he's like, "Oh look, there's one of my dogs against the fence line." I'm like, "There's a dog over there?" I couldn't see it because it just blobbed over. And he's like, "Yeah, here." And I looked through the white, and I was like, "Oh, wow. That definition is insane compared to what I had." And I had a higher spec green phosphorus tube, too.
Well, with my first night vision, that I found it on a Discord server, and it was a Elf 1. It was some Russian import deal.
Truck.
And I took it to APOC 7, or yeah, APOC 7, no, 8. Yeah,
One of
APOC 8. And I was doing some stuff with Ron Bailey, and then I had to use the IR illuminator because I couldn't see anything. He was like, "Hey, turn that off!" Like, a little bit more colorful language, but he was screaming at me to turn off the IR illuminator. that was fun.
I think we mentioned on one of the other episodes. I went to Canada for an event and went with a buddy of mine, Chris Neal, and he bought some kind of like night vision off of Amazon or something like that. And they had these little pine trees, and we're like all spread out. Where I'm in the front, we're marching through these pine trees, and he turned his IR on his night vision, and it looked like the sun fell out of the sky and hit me from behind. Like, it was so bright from even behind. I'm like, anyone that's playing this game, which there were a lot of people in Canada that have night vision, they now know where we are, like 100%. And so I've had that situation, and I'm telling you, it was so bright even from behind me.
Yeah.
It was unreal. So
Well, one thing about that, how did your auto gating work? That we didn't even cover auto gating.
We'll get there.
minutes in.
yeah,
True.
I really want to. Can you guys like each go over exactly what you run? Like, I want to know what, like white green phos, like if it's PVS 14, like if you run a D ball. I'm just curious. I would really want to know what everyone else uses. We go over all the setups.
Well,
if you're
yeah,
cool.
Frankie, what show what you use?
All right.
I
So
think most people brought some show and tell items. So
yeah, so that I run a US Night Vision PVS 14. That PewDiePie, funny enough, gave me a night vision recorder.
Oh, cool.
So that's how I'm able to get some night vision footage. But it goes on the side here. And then Duct Tape, you gave me this Iris Steel. But yeah, I have it on a USGI Rhino mount, which is slightly different than what some other people have. And then I have a counterweight on the back here because night vision's somewhat heavy and you need to balance it on your head, so you need a counterweight. Everyone basically needs a counterweight.
Unless you want to have really big neck muscles.
So
Yeah.
is yours
Unless you're Jake Paul.
is your mount a button to flip down, or is it all force?
It's all force.
Cool, cool.
It's not like a G24.
and you are what, Gen 3 white,
Gen 3 green.
Gen 3 green.
And that recorder, how does that one work? Because I tried a Brain Exploder one before, but the concept of it was cool. Like, you clipped it onto the eyepiece, and it used the camera like shot in and hit like a mirror through it. But the camera just didn't do well unless, well, really you had like a full moon and used IR.
So this is another Brain Exploder, but your camera is just this guy right here. It's,
Oh, so it sits in front of the lens.
Yeah.
Okay, I gotcha.
it's
It
basic.
sees what you're seeing
I
at the
gotcha.
same time.
Basically,
Yeah, that just, it looks nicer. It's not as bulky as the one I had. Mine, like, kind of, they would stick off the side, and I gave up on recording night vision. I'm just gonna try and do thermal. But
Well-
that actually looks promising.
Well, essentially, that I was looking at the files, like when I was pulling the video off. It's a run cam.
Yeah, yep. That's
So-
yeah.
so essentially it's
different
just-
housing.
Yeah, it's a run cam in a different housing. And then
you run a
also,
recorder too, Colter?
I run the exact same one.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, that's
You
one
s-
thing I need to get.
The only thing I was
next
gonna
up
say
is
was you have to make sure that you have it lined up correctly,
Mhm.
or it'll be kind of like facing weird in your tube.
Like
Gotcha.
angled a little bit.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mine had a focus, and that was one thing you had to make sure. Like, I would turn it on, and there was like a little hole, and you could stick like a screwdriver for eyeglasses in it and turn this wheel, and then you'd have it on your phone. Just make sure it was focused. If not, you could just go out and it'd be all blurry.
And then also to anyone that runs night vision, that you need some sort of aiming device. So this is a El Cheapo D-ball with an IR laser that, for airsoft, it'll hold 0, but for real steel, probably one shot. It's not potted. potted means that it's filled, so that it'll hold 0, essentially.
Glue,
Oh, those things work
basically.
great just for all my airsoft guns.
Yeah.
I have one, and well, it has like the day and night laser, and I could have my sniper rifle and just shoot it from the hip once I got it dialed in, and I could hit like a metal pan like at least 100 yards away, or not 100 yards, like 100 feet easily.
But
Nice.
can you 360 no scope?
Maybe if you land on your feet and have the laser on the target, you might be able to get it.
Mom, get the camera.
Yeah.
And then also too that I have, I know there's a bunch of rubber bands on it, but that's just in case if I need them. An IR flashlight. That this is a repro of an M600 Vampire, so it runs white light and IR.
I heard of the Vampire.
Yeah, I love it. And there's some lights that Jackal does sell that do the same thing that I honestly think are better. But I just like Surefire repros and stuff like that because they can use Surefire plugs, like we were talking about earlier,
Off
or
camera.
before off camera. And then yes, this is an MTW without a line because my engine is. I'm waiting for a part for my engine. I don't feel like putting it back in.
It's just a problem.
It's a shell.
Yes.
Oh.
Well, I have the barrel bucking up. Yeah.
You want to go over, Colt, what you got next?
Yeah, so I run pretty much the same thing as Frank. I run a PVS 14 Gen 3 green Foss. The only thing difference between ours is my Wilcox mount. Well, I have the G23 mount.
24.
24, sorry. But
Oh,
besides
nice.
that, there's nothing different between our setups. I usually run a cam just like his. I do not run counterweights. I just never have. Don't really. It's a little heavy, but I usually have a lot of stuff on my helmets, so. they
Plus,
kinda
having
weigh
the Air
themselves.
Pro will help keep it locked in on
Yes.
your head as well to
So
help
with-
distribute the weight.
A lot of events like this, I always wear Ear Pro. I do not go like his. Grenades going off and things like that. Being able to hear people talk at night and things like that. Especially if you can't see your whole squad and things like that. Being able to communicate makes a huge difference.
Oh yeah.
And
What am I gonna do with this?
You know what it is. So.
again,
vision.
slightly different but the same. For an upcoming event, I was building this one because I want a really light setup because I'm also running a grenade launcher.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I love saving weight.
So I had to have this one kind of slimmed down, but for the night play, I wanted everything on it that I could still run. So I'm running same thing, and a laser and IR illuminator here.
And that's the Engall style.
Yes. So not the D-ball, but practically the same thing.
Just different shape, basically.
And then I run all mine to pressure pads, and then same thing, but different than his. I run a IR and white light flashlight, the Next Torch. Again,
It's actually a really good light.
Yeah, I heard of that one too.
absolutely amazing.
It's actually a real steel light, and it's a little bit more expensive than some of these other replicas, but the IR light on that is unbelievable.
And how fast you can switch it between the two is just, it's unbelievable.
They actually showed us they have a new gen
Okay.
coming out. They showed us at a SHOT Show and at the Great Outdoor Show.
Well, with their new grenade.
It's nice too, but the only thing about the new grenade, the reason why we didn't get it, 11,000 lumens.
I know.
We're like, we'll be destroying people's night vision with that grenade.
IR mode.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be awesome if it was an IR grenade. That'd be sweet.
That'd be
Silent
lovely.
kill.
But yeah. You also brought, or do we want to get to it later? But you also brought a thermal scope you
did.
run as well, right?
So at a couple of the last events, I think I started at Draco, I have a thermal scope that I used to run. Have not decided if I'm running it for this event yet, but yeah, thermal's awesome. The thing I like about it the best is being able to use it during the daytime, especially seeing through smoke or different areas. The only downside to it is, unlike night vision where you can put a sacrificial lens or have something over your lens, I have nothing that can protect it. So the pros are the distance I can see in pitch black or during the daytime, and the different thermal signatures I can pick up and things I can see are amazing. But not being able to protect my lens on a couple $1,000 scope is.
So I'm assuming you use that when you're back a little bit, not usually up in the action.
It depends. So there is a reason why this flips up and flips down.
Yeah.
So at like Draco, yes, there were times I was point blank inside rooms using it and such. And then I would try to disengage real quick and throw a grenade or something like that. But outside, all the time, absolutely. It's and especially with kind of like you were talking with the analog, you have to have some sort of recorder connected to it, like our night vision. This already has it connected into it being digital. So with just my buttons on top, I can switch between photos, video, anything like that.
And what brand is that?
AMG. It's an AMG
AMG.
Rattler.
Okay, and what does something like that cost?
It depends. So one like this with the size of the lens and such, you're looking at about 2,000 to 2,200.
Okay.
So
I'll be honest, that's one thing. Other than looking through a couple, I do not know a whole lot about thermal.
Thermal's OP.
And
Yeah, it's
no, and I mean I understand that, and it's awesome,
Worth every
and
penny.
it's that's why I'm kind of being here at this for this episode
After
was kind of excited for me as well, because like I'm getting to see some stuff that I really don't know a whole lot about either. But you got a thermal as well, Frankie?
Yeah, that funny enough, I just got this yesterday.
Nice.
So I haven't even ran on the field yet, but it's a AGM ASP Micro TM160.
Okay.
Alphabet
That-
soup.
I'm sorry,
Alphabet soup.
Alphabet Soup. But the emitter compared to his, it's only this small.
yeah.
You can see on the camera.
Are you going to use that, like, just kind of hang it down so you can, like, scan with it, or are you going to try and do something else with it?
Well, what I actually did, thanks to the magic of 3D printing,
Mm.
I found a mount for this, and I printed it out, and it works
Perfect.
well. The only thing is
For
that
your gun or for your helmet?
for my gun.
Okay.
So I need to go ahead and, after this episode, run down to the shop, grab a riser, and then put that mount on the riser on the gun.
And what did that one cost?
So this one retail is roughly, I think it's $450 to $600. You can get a FLIR Scout for like around $600, $700, which is a little bit better than this. But I got this on as a deal for like $250 on eBay. So you can get into thermal cheap, or you can get it in what Coulter got.
Since you
into.
have yet to use it on one of the upcoming episodes, maybe after Apocalypse, we can discuss
See how it works
how
out.
that quality was, comparable to obviously Coulter's. I know Nate, has a good one too. So
Well, I bet theirs are leaps and bounds above this, because this only has a resolution of like 160 or something like that. That your resolution is what?
I think like 680 maybe.
Yeah.
Usually
have-
thermal's 320 or 640.
640.
Yeah, 640 is like, it's
Yeah.
so crisp. That's what my scope is.
yeah, so I mean, it's cool that
That's
because
used.
you all have different options there. So I definitely would like to see how, maybe I'll grab you guys at Apocalypse and take a
Yeah, you
couple
can-
looks through to see
I'll definitely
see
see
some of the
mine.
differences. So
But definitely though, that's like the starter. Like that's if you don't know if thermal's for you, you get that, and then if you want to upgrade, then you get something like what Nate and Coulter have. It's kind of like night vision, like digital. You're messing around with night vision, and then eventually, if you want to make that jump, then you get.
Well, not yeah, and the cool thing about, I mean, once again, this is in airsoft as a whole, is like we've all been through the beginning of like starting out and probably not buying the best or the most expensive, and it's kind of cool to see even the evolution of everyone's night vision here and stuff like that. How, it's that's part of airsoft is evolving. Get into it more and more and more. You start upgrading and getting better things, and now people like probably like Nate and Coulter. They only buy top of the line,
Yeah.
everything. There's no low end on for those guys anymore. Their lowest end for Coulter is grenades, so
Which are hard to get.
those are hard to get sometimes. So
No, his low end isn't grenades. He doesn't buy EG67s. He buys tags. He buys tags.
he buys them if he has to.
Yeah.
So. But yeah, all right. Well, Nate, we'll see.
Yeah, I'll go over my setup. So I made the conversion to a Boonie hat, which is, a lot of the stuff that I have for this night vision setup is primarily because I really only snipe. So there's certain things that the Boonie isn't that bad for me. Like one of the downsides is you don't have the the headset that'd be a pain in the ass to fit that. But this is pretty much the lightest you can go for night vision. I don't really like the way some of the Skull Crushers look. They look like the special helmets and whatnot. But you can get a boonie hat, and you can really just take anything and just bolt the mount to it. Or you can get one of the head harnesses and like integrate it. I just took the plate from it. And one thing that I really do like about a helmet is the retention. So I took a used bicycle shoe and I attached the BOA retention so I can kind of tighten it just like a helmet.
That's actually really cool.
So it's real, a real minor thing, but it makes a pretty big difference when you're wearing just a hat for the night vision. I have a power bank because that's one downside to most smaller thermals is the batteries. Nap time. So how's the battery life on your scope? Because my scope, it lasts. You could run it all night, but it's a brick and it has a massive battery.
So
But
mine lasts about 4 hours.
that's
but
pretty good.
The cool thing about it is pops out the side right like that, and boom.
Ah, okay.
So
So-
you have-
that's awesome.
You can have multiple.
I carry 3 batteries on me and such like that. So
That's
yes.
really good for that.
Do you see a difference? Like, does the quality start getting less as the battery gets less, or just kind of like it's dead and replace it?
No, it's just it'll start going down, and
Mine
in my
armor.
reticle it'll actually start flashing, telling me about 5 minutes or so,
Okay.
and it'll say the battery life is going down.
That's
And-
cool. That's
No,
actually a
I
cool
just-
feature on that. I like that.
Yeah, I actually really like that because the scope, the battery's like built in. So if I ever have any issues, I gotta send it out. But I will say, so I have that scope there is a ATN Thor 640, and I think it was at the time I bought it, I think it was like $3,000. But if you get that scope now, I think it's probably closer to like $2,000 or $2,500. But one thing when I play at night.
Once again, no protection on that.
Yeah,
right?
no protection. But the thing is pretty small. But yes, there is a chance. I actually don't even run. We talked about this last time. I don't even run protection on my night vision. But I'm gonna get a thing for it. I just don't have it.
Now you're paranoid because we keep talking
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
it. That you're
Meanwhile,
gonna,
I'm the only one here with fully
I've gone
sealed
through
off
3
night
sacrificial
vision goggles.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
well, sack lenses are cheap.
Well,
in
the thing-
comparison.
The only advantage I have, I'm not saying I never get my shit pushed in and people push up when I snipe, but I usually am always starting off away from the action where you guys are like kicking in doors and whatnot, so I do have a little bit of a chance there, but this thermal has like, this is an iRay MH25 and it has the iris lens to like open it, which obviously you can't run it closed, but I actually took an iris, I forget where I got it, I spent way too much money just getting different ones off Amazon. But one thing about so if I have this scope on at night, like it's an LCD screen, so it's lit up. So if I'm just like sitting, this will be like a small beacon. So if I'm gonna move or I'm like going somewhere, I close this so that way it hopefully doesn't give away my position. But yeah, I think thermal's so OP for airsoft.
That's a 37 to 30 millimeter iris. Looks like.
I don't even know because I was literally on like camera websites in Germany trying to find a specific camera adapter. I don't even remember all the numbers, but you, Greg, you'd probably know a lot about cameras. Like when you put on like a different lens or there's like step down, step up, and I probably spent over $100 just getting all these different rings until I was able to find 2, and then I ended up drilling and tapping one to bolt the piece I needed to it, and I finally have what I wanted.
Even with the camera setup I have here for this podcast, certain things are janky. Like this camera doesn't go onto that tripod, and there's an adapter between them.
I'm all about modding shit.
Yeah, it just
we can tell.
Yeah, but well, yeah. Back to this though. I run. So one of the main reasons I have a Gen 3 PVS 14 white phos, and one of the main reasons I went with white phosphorus is because when you bridge it with thermal, I forget if it's white hot or black hot, but if you can try and run it and get your brain to process it, one does pair better with a white phosphorus tube. I rarely run
black hot is
Yeah.
what you want.
I rarely walk around with both eyes open because I almost feel like I'm going to start drooling or get a really bad headache. But if you practice, you can get it. It's just I don't think it's good to do it for like long term. But
I could probably do that. I drool normally.
yeah, okay, perfect.
Maybe you'll stop drooling.
But that's cool.
So that's cool. So you run, just so everyone understands, you're running a thermal and a...
Yeah, I run thermal and night vision bridged on my head, and I have a Mod Armory bridge. So I think I don't know what's true or not, but I heard that you're supposed to put the night vision if you have a single over your dominant eye. I don't know if that's accurate or not, but whether or not it's not, I put the night vision over my right eye because if I'm going to use my thermal scope, I can flip this thermal up and then aim with my scope and not hit it.
That makes sense because for what you're
Yeah.
trying to do.
It's a bit overkill to have like thermal on my head and the scope. Like, why would you do both of them? But I like to walk around and I can just have the thermal down and like scan. And originally I did.
Well, you're not scanning with your gun then, right?
Exactly.
You
I
know,
don't have to pick it up and just like hold that the whole time. But originally I was planning on just weapon mounting this, and this, you know, most people use it for real steel, not toy guns like we do. It's designed to be head mounted. They do have a newer one that's bigger that's designed to be weapon mounted, and I did have it mounted on one of my guns, but it's just like there's no reticule on it, so you can't really like zero it in. And I was just like, that's it. I'm done messing with mounts, and I just bought the scope.
Let's hear about the price. What's the price of that look like?
The PVS 14, I think it was probably around 2,800 or 25 when I bought
It's
it.
about pretty standard.
The bridge, I think, is like $600 or $700, but it allows you, like, when you're wearing it, I like in between rounds, or if I have them off my eyes, to flip them to the side. I think it's a little nicer for the weight, or you can flip them and flip them up, whatever's most comfortable. At the time of buying this thermal, I think it was $4,000. And I also spent an extra $350 to have it's the same lens or eyepiece as a PVS 14, but there's some lip that had to be machined down so it fits the thermal. But when you get this unit, it's better to get the PVS 14 eyepiece because I think it just is better when you're wearing it on your head. And then I think that scope was $3,000. I didn't just go buy it at once. It took me, time to like. I sold some stuff, but yeah.
Sold your soul to the devil.
You sold your kidney.
Yeah.
And that's a Fleer Breach, right? Your thermal?
No, it's a iRite MH25.
Okay.
Fleer Breach is nice. This one, I think the Fleer Breach, does that one have onboard recording?
Yeah.
I think it does, but what stopped me from that, I think it had a real low memory. Or it was maybe only like 16 gigs or something. That's another reason why I bought the scope. That specific scope is because a lot of the optics have onboard recording, but you have to like hook up the scope to your computer or whatever. That I can actually take an SD card, a micro SD card, just like a GoPro.
That's how mine is.
Yeah, I love
Put
that.
a SD card.
And the weight wise here, are you about the same weight on both sides of that?
Yeah. I mean, they're very
Okay.
similar. But then I also run the counterweight.
Oh, just my concern was if one was super heavier than the other.
I don't think so.
Feeling a little bit of
Lopsided.
tension
Yeah.
one way, but no, it
A little
feels pretty
lopsided
good.
left or right.
But yeah, when like they were saying about the counterweight, I went with a one-piece mount because that saves weight on the front, and then on the back, I always run a power bank for the thermal. And I got these Microbat Systems counterweights that I was able to just attach to the hat, and it for a boonie hat, it actually balances out pretty good.
And don't you have a video on your channel of you making the boonie hat?
Yeah, I do have a video on how you can do this. I just bought like
Greg's gonna share it right here.
Yeah.
Well, I run one, and that's exactly how I made mine. Was off of your video.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Did
Alright,
you
cool.
do it with did you do the retention thing?
I did the retention strap. I
I
was gonna
think-
say that earlier because you were the one that talked about it. Off.
How'd you get a shoe? Because I think it was funny.
How
I
would you get a shoe?
I did.
Well, no, hold on, wait.
So-
For this shoe, I went on eBay and bought a used shoe. So I bought this, and it's like someone's feet were in here, and I bought it. Like I think that
And
was
now it's
weird.
on your head, is
Yeah,
what you're
exactly,
saying.
exactly.
So I bought the replacement kit off of Amazon.
Ah, okay,
And then I just rebuilt it.
nice.
So you have a boonie set up similar?
Yes, exactly
Yeah.
the same.
Yeah, once I went to this, I ran this a couple times, and I was at the point where I was like, I love this. I don't think I'll go back to the helmet, and then I sold my helmet.
When I'm
That's-
running a
To
DMR
buy
or
your
something
scope.
like that,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, basically.
But when I'm very close to people, and if I think I have a tendency to be in point blank on people, so I get shot in the face and in the head a lot.
You do. You normally have
I
some
do.
nice bumps on your face.
So with me, lens protectors are a big thing, especially a helmet. The boonie's great if I'm staying back and I'm
Yeah.
doing a different role in the squad, but if I'm usually my forward position, I have to
You
wear
like
a
your helmet.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I just only ever snipe. Like I said, I do get, shot up real good sometimes. It's funny. I got shot in the face recently at one of the events. I think it was Code Orange, but there was one night, I don't remember what game I was at, but I was like in a field behind some tractor. It was real cool at night, like thermal sniping, and somebody like full auto sprayed, and I got shot like right in between the eyes. So it didn't hit any of my lenses, any of my unprotected lenses and hit me in the face.
So you'd rather sacrifice your face?
Yep.
Alright.
As long as it doesn't break my lens.
Sacrificial
But
purposes.
I'm getting there. I'm gonna get some protective things here soon.
Yeah, you're definitely paranoid from that.
This stuff heals. That doesn't.
It heals with new parts, but you know.
What do you?
What's your setup
Yeah,
like?
what are you running? Dusty?
So I also have a boonie cap as well. Greg, mind grabbing that for me? Oh no, I took the hat off again. Thank you. So we'll go with the boonie cap first, since we were just talking about them. I have the Carcajou Tactical boonie cap with the Tracer Tactical head harness inside of it. And this has worked really nice. I haven't used it for milsim yet. I've been mainly using this as my night hiking, night shooting boonie cap, just for something quick throw on, not to bring the whole helmet set up, because the helmet pretty much is set up with my X-Fog, my video camera, my other lights and stuff. That's mainly for airsoft. I like to have something that's just, hey, you guys gotta go hiking? Yeah, sure.
Now, did that come like that, or did you build?
I
that?
had to build it up. You get the hat, just the hat itself, and then you have to integrate the head harness into it, and that
Yeah.
comes in pieces.
See-
and you gotta strap it
So
all
see,
together.
see how he has the whole strap in it. I just could not get it to be comfortable. So that's another reason why I did the retention, is because I didn't run the straps. But this is definitely a little more secure. But this is just the best I could do without that.
But this one also does have a chin strap piece too. I took it off because I found that I don't really need the chin strap. It
Yeah, with
helps
the
it.
string.
Well, not even with the string. It's just the way I have it set up, how tight it is on my head. Once this foam pad kind of sets where it needs to set on my head, it just kind of stays there, and the proper counterweight and everything. But if I'm doing something a little bit more extreme, I'm going to want to have the actual chin strap so the whole thing stays on my head.
And now after all of us built these boonies, I think you can just get a boonie already built now.
Yeah.
But I like ours.
But it was
we built-
fun. I mean,
yeah.
it's fun doing your own stuff. Like I can respect anyone who actually puts time into this. I mean, there's a lot of airsofters that just want to come and buy it ready to go, and then there's people that, like you guys, that research and put time into what you build, or put time into what you buy, and I think that, you know, that's why you guys have like the best of the best. Like
That's how you learn like what's best for you and what's the most comfortable.
I will
too.
admit, I didn't know there was other ways to build boonie caps like how you did it until I saw this, and I was like, oh, cool. Someone finally figured out how to put a night vision boonie cap together. And then I see you guys, and I'm like, oh, this has been a thing. Okay, well, whatever.
Sorry to interrupt, but we would like to give away, if you're still paying attention and still watching, this holographic optic with magnifier. We're going to give it away to one of our lucky viewers by hashtagging in the comment section, me please. You would have a chance to win this in one of our following videos.
I think you're the only one here that has actual duals, right? Because we all
Yeah.
have PVS 14.
So I have the US Night Vision ARNVGs. They're white phosphorus articulating. That's the R part. The rugged night vision. So it's an aluminum housing. So it's a little bit more. It's got a little more weight to it, but these can take a literal ass beating of falling down or whatever. They're meant to
Likes
be
his ass beatings.
to give them, sure. But these are white phosphorus, and these are a little bit more on the pricier side of things.
Yeah, how much
in
was that?
comparison. These ran me $7,000. But I got a free G24, and those who know how expensive the G24s are, I'm not complaining.
it does. That's one thing with night vision that does blow my mind, is the cost of the
Oh,
mounts.
Yeah.
It's like, what is involved in it? But like you have to. I know in my night vision, I went and spent like the most money I could on a mount, because someone said you got to get the best mount, and it's like, if you're gonna spend that much money on the lens and the tube and everything like that, you might as well.
Like
Spend
this
it on the
is
mount.
Greg's setup here, another white phosphorus PVS 14 from US Night Vision. He has the G11 mount, so that takes the normal PVS 14 J-arm bayonet mount and has it mounted
That's not
that
gonna
way.
snap back in.
So it's
It's
I
not
have
gonna
that
snap
so-
back
I have
in.
that so tight that you actually have to.
it pops right out.
Yeah, it does, but
It just
you've
doesn't
gotta-
pop right in.
You've got to force the lever.
These
up
are
on the
heavier.
J-arm.
Oh, okay.
Do you guys all run retention on one of your devices? I have the retractable string, but I always forget to hook it up.
I ran it on mine.
I have it. I just need to remember to
I've
do
used
it.
Those things are insane.
Yeah. In comparison, I'll put that together later.
Yeah.
Yeah, I ran the retention on mine. I felt like I had to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have on my setup here, I have the Wilcox Shroud as well.
Yeah.
Actually, I saw you had
Mhm.
the other version. So it has the retention
Yep,
lanyard
yep.
on the top of it, and it's just, to me, having the Wilcox mount on the Wilcox shroud is a lot tighter than trying to rely on like one of the more plastic mounts or some of the cheaper metal ones. This way, I know this whole thing can bang up against the door and it's not gonna fall off my
And
head.
going back to the mount thing real quick, I don't know why it is an obsession with me, but we did have 3 or 4 years ago, one of my events, someone lost their night vision from running like an Amazon mount with their like $3,000 night vision. So it sucks, and I felt super bad for the guy. But don't chintz on like buying like a $50 mount for your
Yeah.
$3,000 night
Yeah,
vision.
for my $7,000 night vision, I have probably in just this helmet alone, I have a couple $100 into upgrades, and that's the shroud, the mount, upgraded helmet pads inside to make them sit more comfortably on my head,
3D printed skull.
3D printed skull for where I don't want to wear the helmet.
And what made you go duals?
So what made me want to go duals is I got corrupted by my friends who have duals for one. They're like, here, check this out. And I'm like, oh, wow, that is different. Mainly because of the eye relief.
Yep.
It's running around with a PVS 14 in some of these places like an EMR. It's like if you just stand here and just cover your one eye, and you just try to focus everything through one eye, that's how it feels. You're walking around, one eye just sees absolutely nothing, and the other eye you're just focusing through the night vision. So it puts a little bit more strain on, feels like a little more strain on my head and on my eyes versus duals. Both eyes are open, everything's more, the depth perception's better, I can move around better. It's just all around different in a better way.
Yeah, for me, Duct Tape let me run his duels for the Frago mission for APOC, was that last year?
Yeah.
And I'm a kind of a clumsy fool, and with the single tube, I trip on things and I run into people and accidentally touch Duct Tape's ass. But with the duels, I was actually able to run through the woods at skirmish in the pitch black, and I didn't trip more than once.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I've worn duals, and my one buddy, he has dual PVS 14s, which is not the same adjustability wise, and
I used to run the same thing.
they're
So
like
good.
super heavy. But the main reason he did it is because I had gotten thermal, and sometimes we'll rotate since I got the scope. So like I'll run the 2 PVS 14s, he'll have the thermal and I'll have the scope. But anyway, I would never. Well, I will, but I'm less likely to run with just a PVS 14. But like you said, once you have both eyes open, it's like if you don't wear night vision and then you try PVS 14, you're like, wow. And then you put on duals, it's like, holy shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'll tell you,
literally,
I want to run.
I'll
I
tell
wanna
you what,
just,
like,
run.
I agree, and I know Greg and me and Duct Tape have had this argument a little bit. I used to run dual PVS 14s, and I know they were different gens, they weren't exactly the same, but in the airsoft realm of it, getting everyone with their 1,000 lumen flashlights shining at you and stuff like that, I do struggle wearing a dual, and I would rather just wear the monocle where I can just open my other eye and still be in the fight, I feel like, a little bit.
It's 1+, yeah.
So
Well,
I,
that's the one nice thing about with these is obviously they're articulating. So if there's something going on that's in like a half-lit situation, where there are some flashlight going on, I can just roll one up, and it turns
yeah,
off.
and
when you roll it up.
I do
Magnet
get
on
that,
there.
but like I said, that was my argument for like the airsoft realm of it, is that when I did run the duel, I had a miserable time at the event we went to because it was nonstop CQB inside a building and everyone just flashlight. So like that's when I went back to just running a monocle.
Yeah, that's one of my gripes is when I'm at these events and there's a bunch of guys behind me that have flashlights and they see me up front trying to move
And
be
they're silhouetting
selfie,
the shit out of
and
you.
they silhouette the fuck out of me. I'm like, guys, stop.
Yeah, the single tube was really nice at the Code Orange Frago for me.
Yeah.
Until I turned it off and tripped over a stack of 6x6s, it was great.
Greg, you fall and hurt yourself, even if you're not playing.
That's true.
You still
I
fall.
fell off
actually,
the four-wheeler.
Huh?
I fell
I
off the
bought a
four-wheeler.
thing. It's actually like a retention device, but I'm
I'm not
gonna like hook it
surprised,
on
so-
here
I wasn't
and then
paying
just
attention.
pull it up and Velcro it to the top.
Interesting.
That's what I'm doing on my Boonie,
I was
because the
sitting
Boonie
there,
obviously
I was
has more flap because the whole fucking hat moves. But
Yeah, that's the thing with the booty cap. There's a lot more flop to it than this.
Where are we at on time there?
We're at 42 minutes.
Okay.
cool. What else?
Don't worry, there will be some cuts.
I was gonna say the one thing kind of with that is I do like duels, and I agree with the whole depth perception and such like that. It's great, But definitely one positive of running a single is, like both me and you, running a thermal rifle optic and having my reticle and all that, keeping my PVS 14 off to my non-dominant eye and being able to come on my reticle whenever I want, even if people are throwing white light or whatever, I can bring up on my thermal anytime.
Yeah, and I want to get a pocket thermal or a clip-on, maybe probably just a pocket thermal instead.
And just quicker.
So I will need that, or if I'm
Yeah.
just want to do some scanning or whatever, I can just roll the one up, keep the other one down, and do what he does with the Panda Bridge, but then take that away, flip the other one down, and keep rocking on.
They do have mounts that you can go from what he has to mounting it onto your rifle also.
Yeah, I've seen that too. That comes off and then clicks on, which is cool.
Well, we are negating to mention that you have the best of both worlds if you got a clip on.
Yeah, the clip-ons. That's one reason why I want to do the clip-on, so I don't have to do any of that. What the clip-on does is it a piece that goes on, and it allows you to see the thermal through your night vision. Essentially, it's like it has its own optic piece that's looking out, and then it relays it back into your night vision. And some of them will have it where it overlays, where you can have it basically like it outlines the target, or the thermal signature. It'll outline it, or sometimes it'll just come up and glow, which is it's really really cool and really creepy.
I want to ask you for thermal. So, from my experience, I tried so hard. Now I know because it's slightly delayed because thermal is digital. Have you ever had any luck seeing the BBs? Because I have not.
So,
Yeah, like how like if you're shooting in the daytime, in or out of a scope, like with sniping, you shoot. I like watch the BB. I
Right.
like BB.
Yeah.
I was trying so hard for recording purposes mainly to see it with thermal, because like once the scope zeroed in, I trusted enough at night that usually, plus it's so quiet at night too. That's another thing. When you're playing at night compared to a day game, it's so quiet. Like I'll take a shot with my suppressed gun. You just hear that, and you hear the impact, and then hear them yell hit, or if it hits a tree, but it's like so much easier to tell. But
so the only time I can say yes with that is when I run it on one of my machine guns.
okay.
And I'm really
Thermal
ramping
machine
them out.
gun.
So what's happening is it's heating up
Yep,
the BB
yep.
itself, and it's registering the BB. So it almost kind of looks like a
Oh.
tracer round coming
So
out.
it's actually getting warm enough
Yeah.
to. Maybe you should.
So-
No, listen, hold on.
Okay,
Oh,
I was
just
gonna-
wait.
I just had
You
an
wait.
idea. I had an
hold on.
idea.
I'm so far ahead of you. So
Okay.
I was trying so hard. So across all my sniper rifles, I have spring, HPA, and CO2. All different temperatures, if you think about it. Like the air made by the piston, the air from a tank, which could be who knows what pressure, and CO2 gets really cold. I was able to see them a little bit when I was shooting my MP5 testing it, when I was running that off CO2. Still wasn't exactly what I wanted. So then I actually took an SRS mag, and I cut the side of it out, and I bought a hand warmer,
That's what I was gonna say.
and I tried to make like
A
heated
digital
BBs.
electric hand warmer.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah.
And I tried to, and I still haven't picked them up yet, so I got to experiment with it a little more.
So
but that's what I was trying.
What I did kind of like your ideas. I have a PKM, and Jackals, they did a box mag mod for it, and because there's so much space in there, you can throw a
Oh yeah.
pocket warmer in there,
Yep.
and it does heat up the BBs.
Okay.
And yes, absolutely, it'll come out.
So
glowing.
what I learned with the thermal,
That's wild.
with the single shot, well, even if you shoot anything, you don't necessarily see the BB super well, but depending on where you're at, you see the impact.
Yes.
Because I was one time, I forget where I was, but there was like this, they were like shipping containers, and they were cut out, and I would shoot, and like it was like a little sliver where a guy was against like a window that was cut out, and I would hit the window, and you'd see like a bright orange dot from like the kinetic energy, and that's really cool.
Well, that's cool. Cut out containers is probably skirmish.
Probably.
Yeah.
But that's one thing I'd like to do is to have like a real good way, and I think having the 640 helps because of the better resolution. But you don't want to like have a heater so hot that it like melts the mag. But I do have a heater.
Well, not only
mag.
that, if you have too much heater, is that going to give you away more for someone else's thermal?
Exactly.
Like, are you going to see, like, if I have that heater on the side of my mag, you're going to see that big, bright light on the side of your magazine?
So there's not many ways to hide from thermal. Now, everyone always says thermal can't see through glass. You could stand behind a glass pane. Yeah, exactly. But if you have like a glass pane and you're just like walking with it, the thermal's gonna pick up, like it's just gonna see that and be like, what's that like moving there? But yeah, like you saying, an umbrella, I've seen a lot of videos.
Yes.
Like I even think guys like in the military use them. If you just have an umbrella it's because it's not touching your body; it's away from you. So if
That
you
ambient
if you
temperature,
set
yeah.
like an umbrella up and just use that as like a little cover, you won't be seen by thermal. And I think even night vision, from a distance, you won't be able to really pick up
No.
that there's
Yeah,
an
you
umbrella.
It depends on the color.
Mm.
If like what I've noticed with doing stuff with Greg, some of our plate carriers, it's all black plate carrier, black multicam. In the dark, naked eye, it blends in. Under night vision, the black plate carrier is white.
That's what I was
That-
gonna say.
well, that's
Camouflaging
it.
from night vision.
Yeah.
That's if you shine IR light on it.
No.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Just
it
straight
depends on
looking at it.
Depends on the fabric. It depends. Like I don't wash my stuff too much, but like you gotta be careful with like detergent you use.
It's
And
the
like-
same. It's the same as when you go hunting.
Mhm.
That's why you use certain detergent stuff because the deer can pick you up better with different fabrics and different detergents with their eyes. You know.
Yeah, and like what I've noticed, one of the best camouflage patterns that blend in your natural environment and against night vision is Tropic Multicam.
I was told that whatever you do to camouflage yourself during the day mostly applies for night vision.
Mm-hmm.
But on top of just camouflage and movement, I think the most important thing is any type of light. Like
you mean me wearing a Hawaiian shirt doesn't camouflage me versus night vision?
No.
it
Okay.
depends. But
It might glow a little bit.
you should always try and cover like any like your cell phone. If you have your cell phone in your pocket, there's like a little beacon on it that can actually be seen through your clothes. So electrical tape and ranger bands like radios, power bank lights, GoPros with the red recording light, cover all that up, and that's like
Oh
a
yeah,
huge advantage.
that was one of the negatives to the old contour cameras. Is the little red light? It wasn't that bright, but you could really see that through night
Yeah, so
vision or
one thing
whatever.
I found out with iPhones, with everyone had their Face ID. The reason why how the Face ID works is that it's taking a picture of your face with an IR camera, with an IR light. So like if you ever just open your
interesting.
iPhone under night, obviously your screen's gonna glow, but it'll also flash a couple of times of that IR light taking pictures. Or it's taking it. It's not taking a picture, but it's taking a
It's
picture.
not watching you.
Yes, it is.
But
That's
even
why
if
my face is phoned down 90% of the time and covered.
I always put it like just in a pouch. But even if if you have like cameras or like a GoPro and you're like in the tunnels at the prison, which that's huge for night vision because it's like there's no ambient light.
It's black.
So
Even
people-
during the day, it's
Exactly.
black
Yeah,
down there.
once you really get deep down in the tunnel there, that was like for me with my duels. A couple of the other guys had PVS
I
14s,
think the dog's got him.
but with mine how it is, with the settings are, like the FOM rating, everything, I could see through that tunnel almost the entire way, and like everyone's like, all right, well since you can see the best, you're in the front. I'm like, great, thanks guys.
See, that was the thing is I was put in the front of our squad, and that did not work for me because running the thermal and running that, I did not pay attention to everybody behind me, and ended up getting so far ahead, everybody behind me without night vision got stuck.
Yeah. We had a long line of guys.
Yeah.
And I was all the way in the front. I turned around one point, and they're all the way back there. I'm like, that's okay, I'll stand here and wait.
Yeah, there were
Take your time.
15 plus of us.
Yeah, you had a full group.
But
That's probably why you're getting shot up so much too. They keep putting you in the
We're
front.
very aggressive, yes.
I will say, though, the best part about that instance coming out of the tunnel on the main building side is that there was like, I think there was like 15 Havoc guys at Crescent, I believe. Something like that. There was a bunch of us there. But we came out of the tunnel at that hallway, and the two dead guys were walking by. Fortunately, they were dead, or else they were
now.
going to get messed up otherwise. But they were just walking by. They had no idea we were there. They just looked to the right and just saw all these gun barrels just sticking out in the dark. And they were like, holy crap. They're like, we're glad we're dead. And they kept walking by. But it was just funny. There's utter darkness, night vision down. And they're just like,
I'm so bad at any type of indoor. I hate it. I'm not good at it. I don't care to like. I just love sniping. But like sometimes when like at the prison, if I'm with like a group and my spotter, I'll almost like get sent in first, and I'll just have like my pistol, and that's kind of like, well, at least if I die, we won't like waste one of the good guys with like a better gun for inside, and then my spotter can revive me. But
One thing I wanted to, sorry, Coulter, I mean to step on you, but one thing that kills me about airsoft and night vision is that everyone tells me all the time about them buying this, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $7,000 night vision, and then the amount of guys who own the night vision who you never see on the field at night. drives me absolutely crazy.
I'm
It's
so
like,
glad
don't
you-
even tell me you bought night vision
Yeah, Greg.
if you were never going to be on the field at night.
You know, I bought night vision and I didn't realize that night vision use is after my bedtime.
That's true.
I usually go to the truck and sleep until the raffle.
So I think I was like falling out of airsoft, maybe like getting bored or wanted to take like a season off. And the whole reason I really got back into it was because I got night vision and thermal. And now
And
like
because you met us.
yes,
Okay.
yeah. But
Some of us.
night vision and thermal, like I always look for games. Like I always scroll. Is there a night portion? Don't want to
Yeah.
go. But if there's any type of night portion, sometimes I'll even like show up late and just play at night. But
Yeah, we try. I know at our events, we only have one game that really doesn't have night play, and that's our downfall game, which is like the airsoft, more airsoft than Milsim, I think. But I try to at least have a little bit, even if it's only like
chill.
2 hours or whatever, because we do, unfortunately, you have a lot of these events where even if you have 400 or 500 people, you're down to 150 when nighttime comes. So if that. So it's like I don't like to have a bazillion hours of night play, but I like to play at facilities like Crescent or GTI, where even during the day there's portions of those maps you can use your night vision
Yeah,
at
absolutely.
and stuff like that. So
Yeah, at GTI and Crescent, I had those on my head the whole time.
yeah.
So,
and
yeah,
it made
I-
sense. It made sense. You go, especially at GTI. I mean, those basements and stuff like that. I don't care if the sun is the brightest it ever was. There's no light in that building
The one cool
during the day.
The one cool portion at GTI that I really having the night vision for, I forget, there's the guy that I was with, call it like Murder Hallway or something.
Yeah.
There's a cutout window into the pit room, but up there it's pitch black, so we're just up there in utter darkness. Even if you look at us, there's nothing there. So we're just in there in night vision down, just waiting for people to pop out by the doorway. We just fuck them up. And you're like, what the, where? Where'd that come from?
Yeah. So, all right. Well, we're ready to close up the episode. Any final thoughts?
Go
I
ahead.
do. I actually got a question for y'all. Something I've started doing, especially since GTI and since Crescent Prison, do y'all use micro glow sticks at all? So what I've ended
I've
up
seen them.
what
I
I've ended
haven't
up
gotten
using
into that
for,
yet.
I use one slightly larger than like the ones for fishing and such.
Really?
But yeah, about 2.5, 3 inches. So inside of hallways and things like that, like down in the bottom of Crescent, if you put them through hallways and y'all have progressed through, when those glow sticks start disappearing behind you, you know somebody's behind you.
Mm-hmm.
So even with my
Oh,
night
gotcha.
vision, there were times that I would see one pop off and know that somebody's sneaking behind us.
Well, because it covers the light.
It covers the light,
that's
and
smart.
then I would turn, hit it with my thermal, and there was, I could see a hand or something
Yep.
like that, because with my thermal, I can pick up a lot more, because, the heat
Mm-hmm.
signature. I'll see your fingers coming around a wall or something like that
Gotcha.
before I see the full body.
That's really smart
Before-
for tunnels.
Before, our team, I've been playing for 15 years, and our team never had night vision, and we competed at games with night play. And what we always did is we went and bought military glow sticks, and we would always put one on either side of each doorway. If we took over like a castle or a building, we put a glow stick on either side of each doorway, and then you 100% could see if someone walked past.
Yep.
Like you'd see that glow stick go black. You knew
Yep.
someone walked past that glow stick. And that's how we always used to be able to compete in the dark,
Yes.
is by just simple $1 a piece glow sticks.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I would like to get a couple chem lights as well for that.
Yeah, those
for
are
that
good. I
use.
think a lot of people use like you drop like a red one, and then you can tell your squad like, hey, if you see this in the tunnel, like close to after us, it's us.
Yeah.
But when you have a game like this, time elapses, and you can't always go off that. But that's a really good use for them.
Have you thought about dragging one behind you on a string at like 50 feet?
Until you get caught and then fall over it or trip someone behind you.
Just hold the string.
I have bad
Just hold the
friends.
string. Yeah. They would keep constantly stepping on it on purpose.
I actually shot a guy one time at the Crescent Prison in the tunnel because there was a glow stick. I could see the glow stick at the end of the tunnel, and I just see it starting to start slowly going. I'm like, hold on, bang bang, hit. And I was like, I knew it. I knew it. I knew it.
I will say that playing for a long time, like I've seen more and more people get night vision, but that's
Oh,
because
yeah.
it's been becoming more and more
It's-
available.
The prices did come down a little bit. They're starting to come back up a little bit. It's the market for night vision does fluctuate.
Well, I would say you go back even as small as 5 years ago, you were lucky if 1% of the players had night vision. I'd say we're getting probably closer to that, like 3 to 5% of night vision users right now, at least for my events. And it doesn't sound like a lot, but that is a lot. That's a lot of people.
Well,
that
they talked last year. That was 65 people that I knew.
That's what I'm saying. It's becoming more and more plentiful with night vision, and it changed the game in airsoft, just like the frag grenades originally changed the game in airsoft. You know, so
I mean, one of my final thoughts is if you're thinking about it, try it out, maybe rent it, but I 10 out of 10 support it and recommended it. It's just like it's such a cool experience on top of how airsoft normally is, and you don't have to just use it for airsoft. Like you can night hike, like I've done that before, and it's just nice to have.
I used to sneak around the house and put my finger in the dog's nose holes at nighttime. That's what I used to do.
Yes, nose holes.
Yes, nose holes.
Yeah, night hiking's fun. I do a lot of actual firearm shooting too, and there's a lot of night shoots now, especially this time of the year. So it's fun to just get out and do night shoots, make some friends, do some high speed stuff with night vision.
Well, and the thing is too is like you get a good everything here is like quality, right? You get quality night vision, and you decide a couple years from now you want to get out of it, you will have no problem selling it for a fair price.
Yeah, the prices actually for the AR and VGs are up right now. So if I wanted to sell it, I can
Maybe make a couple
make
bucks.
profit on what I have into that.
I made profit on my helmet.
Hey.
I feel like.
I have an idea.
Uh-oh.
I'll edit this out if it's a bad idea.
That's pretty much it. Thanks for watching, everyone.
All right, yeah, thanks for watching, and as always, call your hits.